Hey, everybody. I am back. It's June. I cannot believe it. And we are almost halfway through the 2023 Mind Body Lighten Up Challenge. And why Mind Body? Because we are focusing on both our mind and body. It's not just about lightening up on the scale, it's about our mental and our physical health and well being. So, what's the challenge for this month? For this month, for the next 30 days, focus on lightening up and vegging out. So, what does that mean? For those of you who know me really well, you know that I consider myself not a vegetarian, not a vegan, but a vegetabiliarian. And what does that mean? That means that I focus on vegetables first and primarily. So what that means is that I tend to eat my vegetables first, and then I make sure that I have over half of my plate as vegetables, which is the recommendation from the USDA and my plate. So your challenge for this month in June to lighten up is to intentionally look for opportunities to eat veggies more plentifully and at every meal. So, some helpful prompts is to think about what your favorite veggies are, how you can include them more often this month, particularly at breakfast. Our common, from a US culture perspective, our breakfasts are very veggie light, if anything. And so, your challenge is to really find ways to incorporate veggies in your breakfast, in your lunch, in your dinner. And also think about what other veggies you might want to try. Maybe you want to try a new recipe, whether you want to cook it yourself or you want to go out and get one. Uh, but the focus is how can you make veggies the centerpiece of your meal as opposed to the side piece. So, if you want to, again, if you want to join the mailing list, please just send a message to admin@embodywell.com and say, I just want to lighten up, and I'll send you the newsletter. So in the newsletter, we have some challenges for you to try with respect to the veggies. We also have research that substantiates this idea that you focus on veggies, although everyone knows that veggies are good for you. The question is why we don't act on that more. From my personal observation and why I coined this term vegetabiliarian, book coming soon, is that I noticed that there's so much research around the benefits of vegetables, right? They are some of the most nutrient dense. So when you talk about pound for pound, or more appropriately calorie for calorie, you are getting so many more nutrients that can nourish your body and your mind. So there, for those who don't know, there is a field of nutritional psychiatry, which is looking at how you can use food instead of pharmaceuticals, or in conjunction with, depending on, but that foods can really play a role in contributing to your mental well-being. So remember that there is a recommended 5 cups, and people are always like, what is a cup? Well, 5 cups is, you can think about it as, I usually try to, tell people that they should use the palm of their hand as a cup for most veggies. For green leafy veggies, because they're so light, we think about 2 palms. So a full, and when you think about it, when you cook down, if anybody's cooked any green veggies, right, whether it be collard greens, spinach, kale, they go from this to this. I watched a comedian talking about how small they shrink, and I think I saw a reel about it as well. So remember, your focus is try to get into as many meals as possible and try to get your recommended daily allowance, which is 5 cups. The second thing is to make sure that you get veggies in every meal. So breakfast is your challenge. When I did a vegetabiliarian study, what I found is that people weren't as able, or were not as used to, eating veggies at breakfast. So what do I love? I love a breakfast salad. So I actually, if you want, send me an email. You can get the newsletter, and I'll send you a link to a great site that I know that has breakfast salad recipes, and so you can do those. But I am going to also be posting to a new account that I've created called The Real Vegetablearian, where I'm going to be posting some of my breakfast salads. And but I just encourage you to throw a bunch of stuff in there. If you like eggs, throw eggs in there. I had last night, I think I had sunflower seeds, avocado, a little hummus, some greens, and I actually think I threw in some watermelon. So it was quite tasty. So you can just get as creative as you like. I'm a combiner, so just good to know that. And so in terms of the research, right? As I mentioned before, the research is nothing new. There are so many studies that demonstrate not only the physical, but the mental benefits of consuming a diet rich in veggies. So nutrition science may be wishy-washy on a lot of things. You may see, oh, it's good for you, and the next time it's not good for you. But veggies, with little exception, are the thing that consistently gets boosted as far as your nutritional health. So whether you look at USDA's My Plate, if you go to Harvard, they have a healthy eating plate. You'll see that half of your plate should be veggies. So if you think about that over the course of the day, if you start out with no vegetables during breakfast, then you're already at a deficit. So incorporate those veggies in your breakfast, spread it out through lunch and dinner. Now, the thing that I'm going to tell you that may be a little new to you is the importance of eating veggies first. So you got them on your plate, half your plate, you're doing that. But what happens when you eat veggies first? So there is research that has been done with children and childhood obesity. There is research that has been done with type 2 diabetes, folks who suffer from type 2 diabetes. But most recently, they've actually done research with healthy women and have determined that when they eat veggies first, it reduces the effect on their after meal glucose and insulin. And what does that mean? That means that you have less chance of developing type 2 diabetes, but it also contributes to weight management, because any insulin spikes that you have can contribute to you actually, in the end, gaining weight, because it changes your metabolism, how well you can metabolize food. So what's the upshot? Eat your veggies first. What I typically do is I'll have a little something. I'm a big fan. I'm into my kimchi right now. So my fermented veggies. So I have that first, even if it's a small portion, just have some first. And then have your meal, which still includes half your plate as veggies. Now, how do you do that for breakfast? And I have told many of my clients, former clients, I got this from my Asara, love you. When I first started working with Asara Sahai, who is a healer, she first started me on the having salads when I have breakfast. So I have that first, and then I can indulge in my pancakes, my omelet, my whatever, because the veggies, and there are many, many mechanisms by which it helps you, but having that salad beforehand, and yes, people may look at you crazy, but this is for your purposes, your health and well-being. So the Pew Research Group says that almost half of Americans' daily calories come from two food groups: grains and fats. And the next largest contributor to the diet is red meat. So poultry and fish, so meats. And now, is it any wonder that with those two categories as the major contributor to our diets, that we're struggling universally, so this is worldwide, to control the prevalence of some of these chronic disease conditions? When you talk about diabetes, when you talk about even hypertension and some of those other things, these are largely preventable with dietary changes. So my challenge to you is to include more veggies for the next 30 days. Explore, find new ways to do it, and just start to become aware and observe when you have opportunities and when you don't. One thing you'll notice when you start doing this is that when you do go out to eat, when you're eating out, veggies are sometimes really hard to find. So one way that I deal with that is I typically will have some veggies before I go out to eat. So there are lots of strategies. If you want more, send me an email. You can either send it to admin@embodywell.com or embodywell@gmail.com, and just say, I want to lighten up. You'll get the newsletter. You'll get lots of tips and tricks. And I'll also keep you on the list for the book, Vegetablearian, A Mouthful, which is coming out soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Join the Lighten Up Challenge. We're doing it all year. We've got a different challenge every month for your health and well-being. And if you walk away from this year with just one thing that you've changed, my favorite saying is better is better. And if you can do better in one thing to contribute to your health and well-being, it's better. So thanks to everybody. Jen, I see Raina, I see Bikoa. Hi, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. Happy Juneteenth, and I will see you in July for the July Lighten Up Challenge. Take care.